Hey, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for taking the time out to tune in. You know, without you guys, I wouldn't have a show. So I am very grateful that you take the time out to tune in to my show. I've been in the car today because I'm out and about and got a lot on my mind. Um, Taking care of business, and so I'm like, well, even though I'm in the car, I'm still gonna do my show so that we can have this conversation. I'm looking at the carnage from Buffalo, New York. I'm looking at the carnage from Buffalo, New York, where multiple people have lost their lives, you know, with what they labeled a hate crime. I feel that the United States of America has forgot about protecting black people. Now, I know this ain't the conversation some of y'all want to hear, but it's a conversation that needs to be had. Throughout the course of history, black people have always been vulnerable. They've always been a target. If you go all the way back through history, you'll see it. I mean, we had to endure beatings, we had to endure hangings, we had to endure women being raped, all of this. In the United States of America, ever since we landed on Plymouth Rock, whatever you want to call it, ever since we set foot in this country, we've never been protected. And now in 2022, somebody can show up in a supermarket and they can kill multiple people. Where is the Congressional Black Caucus? What do they have to say about this? Those politicians that are African American that are in positions of power are silent right now. They're silent. And everybody wants to act like they're doing the right thing and they're protecting us. And no, they're not. Let's just be honest about it. The first time something, which I don't know exactly, but there were not very many instances of somebody just targeting Asian people, but they made a big deal out of it. They passed an Asian hate crime bill, and but have they passed an African American hate crime bill? Everybody has a level of protection except for black people. They went in there, and you had black folk that are elected officials in Washington that got that bill pushed through. But every time you look up, one of us being murdered in a hateful way, and we have several hate crime murders as it pertains to African Americans, and there's nothing to protect us. So, has the United States of America forgot that African American people, black people, need to be protected also? I think they have forgotten that. I think it's not a priority. I think that we have to navigate these waters on our own, and a lot of days we're doing a great job ourselves of killing each other. But the sad part about it is we live in a country that they want to say is diverse. It's a very diverse country. Um, they also want to like we all get along, but I think there has come a time where black people have to stop being so forgiving. Black people have to stop being what's the word am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? We have to stop being so forgiving, and we have to just stop acting like what's happening to us doesn't need a sense of urgency. I want to read this comment. Um, okay, Brad. There needs to be a sense of urgency when it comes to protecting black people. I'm not really worried about it to a certain degree. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I ain't going out like that. You might catch me slipping, but I'm just not gonna go out like that. It's just not gonna happen. So, black people, when are you going to hold the people accountable that should be passing laws to protect us? Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, because we gotta be one. We gotta be straight up with each other. Stop waiting for another race to pass a law to protect black people. The black politicians need to push this. Joe Biden acts like he wants to be black 78% of the time. He acts like he cares so much about black people, but there's no sense of urgency coming from his White House. So if you go back and you look, because I know somebody, when I say Biden, they're going to say Trump. I want you to go back and look at all of them. Go back and look at every last president, especially after the civil rights movement. Lyndon B. Let's go to Lyndon B. Let's go to Nixon. Let's go to Jimmy Carter. Let's go to Reagan. Let's go to Bush. You see what I'm saying? Bill Clinton. You know, uh, Barack Obama. Let's look at all of them. Trump, and let's look at Biden. Nobody's done nothing to protect black people. Black people, you cannot just ride around and walk around so footloose and fancy free, thinking that you may not be a target. The judicial system is not set up in our favor to begin with. So if you protect yourself, 9 times out of 10, you're going to fall victim to the judicial system. But where are the people that should be changing laws or passing laws to make sure that we are protected? Where are they? They're ghosts right now. Right now, you're in the middle of some runoff elections in several counties, and it is your responsibility to get out here and make sure that you put the right people in office. Because at the moment, we don't have them. What happened in Buffalo, New York, and that's very, very disturbing, should have never happened. But of course, you give it every 6 months, every year, something like that happens. It continuously happens because there's nothing in place to make sure that it doesn't happen. Crime in general in Harris County, murders are up in the city of Houston compared to last year. I think it's 12 more murders than it was last year. I think it's 6 more murders in the county, Harris County, than it was last year at this time, from January to this time last year. But we're not being forthcoming. These people that are in charge are doing nothing. Do we need to be tough on crime? How does, and I think you guys can help me with this, because I've been racking my brain on it most of the day. What should be the punishment for a murder of that magnitude that happened in Buffalo, New York? Um, the first thing a lot of people do when they commit these types of murders, they play crazy. Try to act like they got mental issues. Well, you know what? They wasn't too mental to plan this thing out. They wasn't too mental to plan. So I think if it's of that magnitude and it's labeled a hate crime, then they should run this through the court system very, very fast, and the penalty should be death. That's the way I feel about it. I think the penalty should be death. They should not be allowed to sit on death row for 9, 10, 20 years. It needs to be swift, fast, and in a hurry. The same way they murdered people wrongfully. It needs to be swift, fast, and in a hurry. And I think when you think about the punishment fitting the crime, that in itself could be a deterrent. That could be a deterrent for people even thinking about doing that, because a lot of these people that commit these mass murders, like I say, they lean on the mental side and try to act like, they had something wrong with them. I wouldn't give a damn how mental you was. If you had enough mental capacity to plan a murder like Buffalo, New York, then guess what? You should suffer the consequences. And I think that's what's wrong with America in general when it comes to crime. The consequences are not matching up to the crimes anymore. Now, for a long time, those consequences exceeded the crimes. They exceeded the crimes. So the crimes didn't match the consequences on that level. But nowadays, these people are committing murders and getting $30,000 bonds all over the country. These people are committing murders. They're sitting in mental hospitals for 30, 40 years, 15, 20 years. Then they let them out. There ain't nothing wrong with them. But these families cannot be repaired. And I think somebody needs to take into consideration that needs to change. Whether it's on the state level, whether it's on the federal level, that has to change. If there's no laws there that can make some of this stuff happen, they need to create those laws. I'm very, very disturbed by Buffalo, New York. I'm very, very disturbed by it because you never know where it's gonna happen at. You never know. And it's like we laying around here like we sitting ducks. But let you go pluck the hair off of an Asian head. You don't get the book thrown at you. But there's nothing in place to deal with, which has been centuries long. The mayhem and the hatred, the hateful crime murders that happen to black people. There's nothing there to deal with it. Um, let's keep those families in our prayers. But there are some things that need to change. So, I'm sitting in the car, but I'm gonna get a little loose. And I'm gonna say some things and it's gonna anger some of y'all, but I mean that's my normal, so you gotta get past it. Let's look at this guy. I don't even know his name. I couldn't read the articles. I just know it happened. Was taken into custody. He was taken into custody. You pull Sandra Bland over and you kill him. Eric Garner selling cigarettes outside of a store. You kill him. We have a racial problem in the United States of America that is not being addressed. This country needs to be shut down to a certain level to deal with the racism that is here. Now, I know a lot of people are going to come and they're going to blame that racism on Trump. Nah, man, it's been like that since we got off the boat. This ain't Trump. It's been like that forever. So maybe that's why it won't change, because it's always been like that. You feel what I'm saying? It's always been like that. And when it comes to these people, whoever they may be, killing five, six, seven, eight black people, they seem to always make it to jail without a scratch on their heads. But black people, we get pulled over, we get handled like we are Pablo Escobar. because we may have a tail light out. You feel what I'm saying? We may have a tail light out. You don't know if you're going to make it home. So how does another white supremacist, this is what they labeled it, make it to jail after killing that many black people? You know how he make it to jail? Because a bunch of you black folks are punks. See, you talk the game like what you would do.